Greetings, everyone. Boy, have I got a review video for you today. Holy moly. Bam, pow, kapow, zang, etc. Marvel. Marvel Cinematic Universe. Wow. Boy, are they ever making waves in the cinematic scene with this whole Marvel Cinematic Universe thing. I'm really quite blown away by just how successful this project has been over the past almost 10 years and how it just keeps going strong and getting better and better and better. I was pretty late to the Marvel Cinematic Universe party. As most of you know, it was a long time before I picked up the 6 Phase 1 movies. Mainly because I was foolishly waiting for them to go on sale so I could get them a little cheaper. Not taking into account the fact that it's all owned by Disney now, and Disney rarely puts their stuff on sale. So, I think as of the Avengers, I've just kind of been biting the bullet and buying them as they come out. And then, of course, I did track down the earlier releases, managed to get them with all the slipcovers and stuff like that. I think the first one I actually received was Captain America: The First Avenger, which was sent to me by a viewer. And then before watching that, I tracked down all the other ones and watched those. So Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, and then finally the Avengers. And thoroughly enjoyed Phase 1. Phase 1 was kind of hit and miss, I thought. The Incredible Hulk, as much as I love the Hulk, was, I think, one of the weaker entries, which is unfortunate. We have yet to get a really good Hulk movie, which is a shame because there's some great story arcs out there that they could adapt. I was kind of hoping with Phase 2 and the whole Civil War thing that maybe we'd get a Planet Hulk movie. I mean, we did get a terrific Planet Hulk animated movie, but it would have been great to see that brought to life in glorious live action with some, spectacular CG effects and whatnot. But it doesn't look like that's happening, so I don't know. So, yeah, instead of the Illuminati firing Hulk into space and pissing him off, Hulk just basically had a Hulk sulk and went off on his own, so he's not there for Civil War. He's off sulking somewhere. Oh well. Too bad. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Phase 1. We're here to talk about Phase 2, because that's the big thing right now. Just wrapped up with recently with Ant-Man. Phase 2, once again, we get 6 movies. We have Iron Man 3, Thor: The Dark World, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers: Age of Ultron, and then, of course, Ant-Man. And Phase 3 begins with Marvel Civil War, which is currently in theaters at the time of this recording. Now, before anyone asks, no, I probably won't be seeing that one in theaters. I tend to be more of a wait until it comes out on Blu-ray kind of guy. And then and then beyond that, wait until several of the movies in that phase are out on Blu-ray kind of guy. There are exceptions. I did see Guardians of the Galaxy in theaters just because I was so blown away by the trailers. I knew that this was one I really wanted to see on the big screen. Plus, I mean, it's sort of the more sci-fi of them, and outer space and aliens and alien worlds and stuff. So to me, that's the kind of thing I like to see on the big screen. Like Rosie and I went to see Star Wars on the big screen, for example, and stuff like that. So anyway, I wanted to get caught up on the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because I've been buying them as they came out, but I hadn't got around to watching them yet. Civil War was just around the corner. I thought, you know what, let's watch all of them and get caught up and see what everybody's been going gaga over, and see if it really is as good as everyone's been saying it is. So let's find out. The Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 2 review today on Movie Mondays on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. Okay, so I should say right off the bat, given that we're going to be covering 6 movies, these aren't going to be like huge, in-depth, blow-by-blow reviews. It's just going to be kind of my general impressions and thoughts and feelings on each one. So let's start with the beginning of Phase 2 with Iron Man 3. This was also gifted to me by a viewer. It is not the 3D edition. I still need to pick that one up. I'm missing 3 of the 3D versions of the various movies. I need the Captain America, the first Captain America, the first Thor, and this one. They tend to be stupid expensive, though, whenever I see them. I did see Walmart got a bunch of the Captain America ones back in stock, but it's like $40. And I'm like, 30 maybe? But 40 is kind of pushing it. Like, come on, $40, really? In this day and age? Give me a break. Anyway, Iron Man 3. This was the one I did not rewatch during my big Phase 2-a-thon, so I'm kind of going from distant memory here. I did watch this shortly after it was sent to me, though. General impressions, I don't remember a lot about it because it's been so long, and the fact that I don't remember a lot about it probably speaks volumes right there. I do remember a couple of things, though, that made an impression. There's the big final battle scene, of course, with all the various Iron Man suits, and he's jumping out of one and jumping into another, and just all these suit, as one suit gets destroyed, he jumps into another one, all midair, and it's all very spectacular. Honestly, I thought it was way over the top and just too much. I thought it was taking it way too far. It's like, yeah, we get it. You can do all these spectacular things with CG nowadays, but come on, like let's dial it down a bit. The other big issue I had with it, of course, is I think the same issue most people had with it was the old Mandarin switcheroo. Yeah. Can we just have the Mandarin, please? That's all I want. Just the Mandarin. I know that in this day and age you're kind of iffy about the sort of racismness of the character, but I mean he's basically a Fu Manchu with magic rings. But come on, I mean he's like one of the long-standing big villains of Iron Man. He had the Iron Man cartoon in the 90s where the Mandarin was the main villain throughout the whole frickin' series, and it was awesome. They did it in that. That was still in the politically correct era. Why can't we do it in the movies, you know? Now, that said, we will come back to that in just a moment here. But, yeah, overall, honestly, the weakest of the Iron Man films definitely has its moments, none of which I can remember because it's been so long. But I remember not hating it, but not thinking it was the best one. I actually like Iron Man 2. I know a lot of people don't, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was, a fun little romp. Finally get to see War Machine in action and stuff like that. Yeah, anyway, moving on. Ones I did watch recently. This one I was really looking forward to because I heard it was a lot better than the first one. I was kind of so-so on the first one. I thought the story was really predictable. It was written by Joe Michael Straczynski, the original, and I thought, it wasn't one of his stronger stories. I'm seeing who wrote this one. Does it even say Don Payne and Robert Rodat? Screenplay by, there's a bunch of people I don't know. Anyway, so Thor: The Dark World. I was looking forward to this one because my understanding was it took place a lot more on Asgard, and I've always said that my favorite bits of the original Thor movie were the parts that took place on Asgard because I just thought it was freaking spectacular. Well, this one does not disappoint. Holy crap, did we get a lot of Asgard action on this. And just the story in general, I thought was a lot better. I mean, we're past the origin story, so now we have Thor in all his glories. This is the post-Avengers Thor, so he's really come into his own as the God of Thunder, and great stuff. Some great Loki moments in here as well. Gotta love Loki. The thing that's great about it is, I mean, it playing into the continuity, you get to see almost immediately Loki's punishment for all the crap he did in the Avengers. He gets what's coming to him. There's no question about that. And his Asgardian family and friends and whatnot are not too pleased with what he did, and understandably so. Some standout moments in this, primarily involving Loki. He's just such a fun character. I love when there's the big jailbreak scene where the main villain's sort of big super super henchman is busting everybody out of the Asgardian prison. He gets to Loki's cell, and Loki's staying there like, like you're gonna let me out, eh? And the guy just like looks at him, and then walks away. And Loki's like, and like just immediately resigns himself to his fate. It cuts to just even more chaos and madness going on in the prison as everybody's breaking out and all hell's breaking loose. And it cuts to Loki just sitting there in his cell, just calmly reading his book. It's like, yep, I get it. And it just cracked me up, and just all the various, and then finally when Thor comes along and busts him out, and the whole thing is like, I need your help and stuff like that, and every person they pass by like stops Loki in his tracks and says, if you betray him, I'll kill you. And it just gets to the point where like one person like stops and is like, if you betray him, and then Loki's just like, let me guess, you'll kill me? Yeah, I think you're gonna have to get in line. It's just so much fun, and I loved the whole plan that Thor and Loki had to play up the betrayal aspect of it that everybody thought he was going to do, but it was just the way that whole thing played out. It's like as soon as like Thor like got his hand chopped off and stuff like that, I was just like, I don't know. I'm sensing something fishy going on here. We know that it's been firmly established in this movie and in other movies that Loki can cast illusions. I bet this is an illusion, and sure enough, it was. And it was all part of their big plan to trick the big baddie. The big baddie, by the way, who was played by Christopher Eccleston, and I didn't even realize that was him until the credits came on. I was like, oh my god, that was Christopher Eccleston? Awesome! So, pretty cool. So needless to say, I really enjoyed Thor: The Dark World far more than the first one. I will probably revisit this one many, many times. Now, I should mention something about the Blu-ray. This contains the last, sadly, to date, Marvel one-shot. I love the Marvel one-shots. They're short films that fill in little holes in the continuity. This particular one revisits the Mandarin as the actor who played the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. And it's brilliant. I love it. Ben Kingsley just having a blast, slumming it as this has-been actor who got the role of a lifetime playing the Mandarin and stuff. But where the short is called All Hail the King. I'm pretty sure you can find it on YouTube if you poke around. I think it's on Marvel's YouTube page, actually. And what that short suggests is that the Mandarin that we saw in Iron Man 3 was not the real Mandarin, well, as we know, obviously, but that there is the real Mandarin out there. And he's not too happy about what happened in Iron Man 3, much like the rest of us. So that says to me, like, okay, wait a minute. Was this the plan all along, that Marvel was just going to troll us with Iron Man 3 to set up a bigger Mandarin storyline later? Or was this in response to all the fan outrage about what they did with the Mandarin? Could be a bit of both. I don't know. Either way, I was very happy with that short. It's a fun little short. And very happy with how it ends. And very happy with what it suggests they may do down the line. I'm hoping that when and if we get an Iron Man 4, that we see the real Mandarin in it. Like, come on, let's just make it happen already. Alrighty, so moving on. Captain America, the Winter Soldier. This is one I was really looking forward to, mainly because of Skinslip's glowing reviews of it. He said, he has called this, and I quote, the greatest superhero movie ever made. Not necessarily the greatest comic book movie, but the greatest superhero movie. Meaning, I guess, the one that feels the most like a superhero comic. And so I was really looking forward to checking this one out. Again, I was not overly impressed with the first Captain America. The big problem I had with it was, here they go to all this trouble to create this ultimate super soldier, and then immediately throw him into song and dance routines to entertain the troops, instead of putting him into battle. Like, what the hell? They turned him into a figurehead of American strength, rather than actually using what he was created for. And that always just annoyed me. It's like, come on, let's actually see more of Cap being Cap. Like, come on, let's get some action here. When it finally does get going, it's great. I mean, when he's actually fighting the Red Skull and everything, it's terrific. But just too long with the song and dance routines and entertaining the troops. It begins well, it ends well, the middle just bugs me. This one, however, much like Thor, we're past the origin story. Cap is in present day. Everything is good, and we get straight into some serious, proper Captain America action here. Now, the thing that really impressed me about the Winter Soldier is the balance between action and drama and humor. Like, they really got the balance pretty much bang on perfect. Love the introduction of the Falcon and the whole development of that character. What a great character. I would be all over a Falcon movie if they ever did that. I doubt it's ever going to happen. I think he'll only ever be a supporting character. But I love the actor they got to play him, and I love how what they've done with that character. I think he's just a terrific character and a terrific, much-needed friend for Steve Rogers. You know, like they really developed a fast friendship there, and I really liked that relationship and how it developed. And but the thing that really struck me about the Winter Soldier was the fact that the action sequences, they are spectacular, they are gripping and intense, but unlike a lot of other action movies, it does not fall into the trap of having those sequences go on too long or having them too ridiculously over the top, like in Iron Man 3. It keeps the balance right. They go on just long enough to maintain that level of excitement, and they end at just the right time, so you're like, that was a really satisfying sequence, and now we have some downtime with the characters to recuperate until the next one happens. And it's just, that's the only way I can describe it, is it's perfectly balanced. Like, the flow of it, the pacing of it, everything is just bang on perfect. Like, they really did a fantastic job. And the storyline with the Winter Soldier and what his background is and everything is great, and it plays out beautifully. I even go as far to say is it does not fall into the same trap that so many action movies do, in that it does not fall apart in the third act. You know what I mean? Like, you get a lot of action movies where it'll be great for the first act, it'll have a big spectacular set piece, you have a bunch of plot stuff in the second act, and the third act will just be some ridiculously overblown action sequence that just goes on way too long, and just, it's like, just end already. Winter Soldier doesn't do that. Does it have a big, massive action sequence at the end? Hell yeah, absolutely. How about a fleet of SHIELD helicarriers? How about Hydra's ultimate plan coming to fruition? I mean, there's some big stuff going on. I also love how they developed Hydra. How Hydra has been secretly in their midst this whole time, and it all fits together beautifully. It's great. I love what they did with that. The many heads of Hydra, and they're getting their hooks into everything. And then so you have this massive action sequence. You got all the helicarriers, you got Falcon trying to take care of the helicarriers, you got Cap trying to take care of Winter Soldier and the helicarriers. You got all this stuff going on. Meanwhile, Cap's trying to get Bucky to remember who he is, and there's just all this stuff happening, yet at no time does it feel cluttered or unbalanced or too much. It's just right. So, yeah, Captain America Winter Soldier, I concur with Skinslip's opinion. It is definitely one of the absolute best superhero movies I've ever seen, if not the best superhero movie I've ever seen. It's spectacular. And again, much like Thor, it is one that I will be revisiting because I think it's just a fantastic, entertaining film. Great stuff. Next up, this one I did not rewatch during the rewatching, just because I've already watched it so many times. We, of course, have Guardians of the Galaxy. What a fun movie. This is the one that set the bar for so many comic book movies to come, and I'm sure we're going to continue to see its influence for many, many years. So we get a team of characters that the vast majority of the general movie-going public has never heard of. So they took a big chance doing Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, I remember the 90s comic that was, that came out. I flipped through a few random issues of it, and it just never really grabbed me. But then they did the revamp of Guardians of the Galaxy, about a decade ago. And that one I read. As you may recall, I picked up the Dan Abnett run, the 25-issue run that was recently reprinted as 2 volumes. And I just read the shit out of that. It was fantastic. It was really good. Now, for me, the only character I really knew from Guardians of the Galaxy going in was Rocket Raccoon. because I think I mentioned in an update many moons ago when I picked up the trade paperback of the Rocket Raccoon and Groot stories. I actually collected the original Rocket Raccoon 4-issue miniseries, and I also have the Incredible Hulk issue that he first appeared in. It wasn't his first appearance, but it was the first appearance of sort of the modern Rocket Raccoon, or what would become the modern Rocket Raccoon that we know. So I was wanting to check it out just because I love Rocket Raccoon. I've always thought he was a cool character, and I love that they brought him back and revamped that character, and that he's so popular now. I mean, I always felt that he deserved to be a popular character, but it just kind of slipped through the cracks until the revamp of Guardians of the Galaxy kind of put him in the spotlight and really developed him further into what he always could have been. So yeah, in short, holy crap, what a fun movie. It's just so much fun. It's, again, it gets the balance right. You got, some terrific action sequences, just a great group of characters and a great group of actors playing those characters. So much fun. Chris Pratt is perfect as Star-Lord, the smart alecky, space mercenary guy, basically. Well, not even space mercenary, like space thief, I guess you'd call him. You got Drax, who a lot of people said is described as an autistic hero. And the logic behind that is because Drax doesn't understand sarcasm, and those who have autism have a difficulty understanding sarcasm and sort of that style of humor and metaphor and things like that. They tend to take things very literally, and it's nothing wrong with that. It's just the way their brains are wired. I mean, it is what it is. So I remember reading some things that there was some people who really liked the character of Drax, because here we have a character who is essentially autistic, who is a hero and who is kicking ass and taking names, and I think that's great. I think it's great that we're not only seeing minorities represented, but we're seeing those with mental illnesses or mental health issues represented as well in heroic fashion, which I think is wonderful. And just generally a great group of characters, and just a really, really fun movie. I loved the humor in it, genuinely funny. Yeah, when I saw the trailers for this, I knew that it was going to be something special and different, and I love that it was so successful, that they took a chance on this. The past few years have really been about taking chances with some of these comic book movies, and it really makes me happy to see that when they've done that, they've been huge successes. I'm hoping that that's sending a clear message to Hollywood that, it's okay to take chances. Look at Guardians of the Galaxy. It pays off. People are hungry for things that are different. Please give us more. Thank you. So yeah, I mean, in short, just a really, really fun movie. And I love, again, the balance between humor and action and drama. I mean, this opens with a very heartbreaking scene with Peter Quill seeing his mother die right in front of him. I mean, it is just heartbreaking. And then we get into, where he gets taken away, and then he gets into... I love the opening scene where he's walking along... he grabs one of the rat creatures as he's listening to his tape and starts singing into the rat. There's just so many little moments like that. And the whole thing of Rocket Raccoon's escape plan, it's like, get this and this and this and get that guy's wooden leg. And he's like, okay, I got the wooden leg. And then Rocket just busts out laughing. He's like, really? You actually thought I needed that? Was he hopping around and stuff? It's like he's just such a jerk, and you gotta love him. But yeah, I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, I can't wait for Volume 2. I am definitely going to see that in the theater. I think that's coming out next year. Fantastic. Love Guardians of the Galaxy. All right, so next up we have the culmination of Phase 3 with Avengers: Age of Ultron. And yes, I did manage to snag the Steelbook for this. I know people were very mixed on Avengers: Age of Ultron, so I was really curious about this one. I mean, after 3 mega hits in a row, we had Thor: The Dark World, Captain America: Winter Soldier, and Guardians of the Galaxy. 3 in a row that fans were pretty much unanimous were excellent entries in the series. It was interesting to see the mixed reaction to Age of Ultron, so I was really curious about why that might be. Like, what is the big deal? What do people have a problem with? My take on it, honestly, I really enjoyed it a lot. I thought there were some great, some great set pieces in it. I really liked James Spader as Ultron. I thought he just nailed that character and the not just the evil, but the sort of, I don't know how I put it. Kind of full of himself, kind of, know-it-allness, smarmy, egotistical, bit of a jerk, I really liked his portrayal of that character. Now, I have not read the Age of Ultron storyline that it's loosely based on. I know that it was a huge story arc, like huge big crossover event a number of years back in the Marvel Universe. But it was during a time when I wasn't really collecting comics much, so I kind of missed out on it. So I don't know if that's the cause of people being annoyed by it. I don't know. Was it the Black Widow Hulk love story you didn't like? Was that it? I mean, there was some great moments in it. I mean, I loved the opening fight scene where you get to see get some cool slow-mo shots of the team as they're going into battle, and Hulk smashing bad guys left and right, and just seeing that team dynamic at work right off the bat again. I mean, they really work together to defeat their enemies and stuff like that, and it's just fantastic. And then we have, oh my God, the Hulkbuster scene. Hulkbuster versus the Hulk. I think even people who didn't like the movie love that scene, and how could you not? It is just so much freaking fun. And, I mean, the action is over the top and ridiculous, as it should be, with Hulkbuster versus the Hulk. But also just the dialogue, like all the little quips from Tony as he's fighting the Hulk. Like, when he's doing, like, his rapid fist punch, and he's like, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. It's like that. I just bust a gut laughing at that whole thing. And then when he just hauls off and punches Hulk and knocks out one of his teeth, and he's just like, I'm sorry. Because he knew he was about to get ripped limb from limb. Just such a fun scene. I could just watch that scene over and over again. Just two titans beating the tar out of each other, and there's still... See, that to me was like an ultimate comic book scene, because you read scenes like that in the comics, and there's always that witty banter going back and forth. Now, with Hulk, obviously being one of the combatants, the banter's going to be kind of one-sided, but it was great. It was just so much fun. I really enjoyed that a lot. And then other aspects of it, all I could think of, there was that scene where there's that wonderful Black Widow scene where she's on the motorcycle and like rockets out of the plane, and then she's just barreling down the street and such an epic scene. I love what they've done with Black Widow. I mean, they've really made her just a really fun character. And, I mean, she's badass, but she has the smart alecky comments as well. You saw a bunch of that in Winter Soldier as well, where they were on the run from, S.H.I.E.L.D. after Hydra took over. And, I love Scarlett Johansson anyway. I've always have, always will. Don't care what anybody says about it. It is what it is. And I don't get it when I see people saying, oh, Black Widow's so boring, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't find her boring. I mean, she is what she is. She's a trained assassin. She's not going to be brimming over with personality. Yet, in spite of that, she still manages to get her, verbal jabs in and stuff. But yeah, seeing that motorcycle scene, all I could think of was the controversy surrounding the toy line when that came out. Because there was a toy based on that scene. I mean, that's her scene. That's Black Widow, one of Black Widow's big moments in the movie. And then the toy had Captain America on the motorcycle instead. And people went apeshit. And honestly, understandably so. I mean, that's what little girl who idolizes Black Widow as the strong female character, or even little boy, just anybody, any little kid who idolizes that character in that movie wants the toy, of her scene in the movie, goes to find the toy and finds Captain America on the fucking bike. Like, what the hell? What is up with that? I don't get the reluctance. I mean, there is all of this outrage. The same thing happened with Star Wars when Star Wars Force Awakens, the lack of Rey characters and Rey-centric focus on the packaging. There's all of this fear from from the toy manufacturers about having female characters. Oh, female action figures don't sell as well. It's like, how do you know? You never sell them. I mean, Barbie's been going for years. Frickin' Monster High is quite successful. You know, there's been, I don't know how many female-oriented action figures. You know, I know more girls who love superheroes and video games than I do guys. Like, come on. Don't give me this bullshit that girls don't want girl action figures. Hell yeah, they do. So do a lot of boys. Just give us some frickin' Black Widow stuff, for fuck's sake. Really. Seriously. But that, I can totally understand the outrage about that particular toy. I mean, I think that was perfectly justified, and just a big load of bullshit. Alrighty, so carrying on. So anyway, Avengers Age of Ultron, I enjoyed it. I found it very satisfying. I did find it a little unbalanced compared to the others. That seems to be the word of the day, balance. A little unbalanced compared to the others. It did fall a little bit into the third act trap of being a little too over the top, and just, you know, going nuts. But whatever. Overall, a satisfying film experience, and one that I will enjoy. Oh, Vision! How can I not mention Vision? So great to finally see Vision in it. Holy shit. And I love the fact that the actor playing Vision is the same actor who's been voicing Jarvis since day one. That is so perfect. Like, clearly, that was a plan they had at the time to see through to fruition. So here it is 8 years later, and we finally see the culmination of that plan. Marvel really knows what they're doing, man. But I love Vision. Like, I love what they've done with that character. So fantastic. I love the scene where they're all like debating whether or not they can trust him, and he's just talking about how, you know, he's here to help. He's not Ultron. He's not Jarvis. He's something else. But he's, you know, he can be trusted. And then he picks up Mjolnir and hands it to Thor. And my first reaction was, whoops, was, there's your trust. There's your trust right there. Mjolnir deems him worthy, therefore he is trustworthy. Mjolnir is not going to give itself to someone who is not worthy or able to be trusted. You know, it's just not the way it works in the cosmic scheme of things. So, yeah, very, very cool. Oh my god, and the post-credits sequence, we knew it was heading this way. They've been building up to it for ages. We've been talking about the Infinity Stones since Thor Dark World was the first time we heard about one of them, and it's been showing up periodically throughout the movies since. And now it's confirmed, where we got Thanos picking up the gauntlet without any of the stones in it, of course. And, oh yeah, we know where this is going. Well, of course we know where it's going because they've announced it, but, you know, even before that, if they hadn't announced it, that would have been even more shocking. But we know that it's heading towards an Infinity War / Infinity Gauntlet storyline. Awesome. Awesome. Can't wait. So it's gonna be pretty cool to see how that develops over the course of Phase 3, where it will be the culmination of that. Well, Phase 3 is gonna be the longest phase. Yeah, I think they've got 9 movies or 10 movies in it, something like that. So far, the phases have been 6 movies each. But we got even more for Phase 3. Yeah, so the end of Phase 2, funny enough, this is actually considered part of Phase 2, not part of Phase 3, oddly. I don't know why, but there we go. We have Ant-Man. Yes, good old Ant-Man. Again, a character that not everybody was terribly familiar with. I mean, readers of the Avengers comics obviously would be familiar with Hank Pym and Henry Pym and stuff like that. But so a lot of people went in not knowing anything about the character, much like they went into Guardians of the Galaxy not knowing anything about those characters, and thinking like, oh, I don't know, is it gonna be okay and stuff. Again, holy shit, what a fun movie. I loved this movie. Rosie and I watched it together, and she ended up watching it again the next day. She just loved it so much. So much fun. I kind of got almost a Greatest American Hero vibe from it. In particular, when he first puts on the suit and shrinks for the first time, and he's just getting like catapulted around like water, and like finds himself in the dance party in the apartment downstairs, and then out onto the street, and getting chased by a rat, and just all this chaos going on. just so much fun. I really, really enjoyed that a lot, and really surprised to see Michael Douglas in it. Not even as a cameo or anything. He's like one of the main freaking characters. He's Hank Pym. He's the inventor of the suit. He's the original Ant-Man. There he is, Michael Douglas, man, in the house. That's awesome. So really enjoyed it a lot. Can't wait to see Civil War and see at least a little bit of Ant-Man again. I know he's in it. I'm sure he's not a central focus of it, though, because, well, we know there's a much bigger story at play there. But Team Cap or Team Iron Man. But I don't know, what can I say about Iron Man? Ant-Man, really, other than it's a hell of a lot of fun. And it's one that I will definitely revisit again and again and again. Oh, I loved his I loved his cellmate, Buddy. He was just so freaking funny. And just how he gets like all nervous and the stuff when he's and all the scenes where his buddy is like telling him the plan or telling him what he heard from so and so, and as you're seeing the flashback, you're seeing the people that said whatever to whoever, speaking in his voice, lip syncing to him, and using like his mannerisms. Both of those scenes just cracked me up. Seeing all those characters talking and acting like him, absolutely hilarious. Even Stan Lee was in there as one of them, and that was great. So much fun, and just generally, I mean, again, pretty good balance overall. But it's interesting because I read something recently about how Marvel Cinematic Universe villains seem to fall into one of two categories. They're either the unstoppable monster, like Age of Ultron, or they're the evil businessman, like in Ant-Man. And that's very true. That does seem to be the sort of thing. Like, Thor Dark World, unstoppable monster. Captain America, Winter Soldier, basically evil businessmen in the form of Hydra. Guardians of the Galaxy, unstoppable monster, Ronan the Accuser. Age of Ultron, unstoppable monster, Ultron. Ant-Man, unstoppable evil businessman, the guy who was Hank Pym's business partner. And Iron Man, the fake Mandarin. So there you go. But whatever. I mean, it is what it is. It works. So yeah, overall, as I'm sure you can tell, I loved Phase 2. Holy crap. Like, after the kind of, up and downness of Phase 1, I think they've got a lock on it now. They really know what they're doing. They've got their optimal creative teams on each one, and it's fantastic. I should mention also, I have been checking out the Netflix shows. I just finished watching Season 1 of Daredevil, and I've just started on Jessica Jones, and I'll be watching Season 2 of Daredevil. Can we please have Blu-rays of those, please? Like, what is the holdup here? Let's have some Blu-rays. Really looking forward to the other Netflix shows coming out, such as we got Power Man coming out, we got Iron Fist coming out, and apparently Punisher was such a hit in Daredevil Series 2 that we're getting a Punisher series as well. So, freaking awesome. And it has been confirmed, by the way, that the Netflix shows are in the same universe as the cinematic universe. They're just sort of the grittier side of it. They're the more urban side of it. This is the big scale stuff. Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Punisher, all of them. They're the smaller scale stuff. Still in New York, just a different part of New York. So, interesting. Then we got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., of course, which I really need to get caught up on. I've literally only seen like the first 4 issues. I really need to pick those up. Maybe while I'm waiting for Civil War to come out, I'll grab Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There's also Agent Carter, of course, which sadly has been canceled, by the way. Yes, Agent Carter, who I guess first appeared in a Marvel one-shot, got her own spin-off series, so you get to see sort of S.H.I.E.L.D. back in the World War II era. And but it's been canceled. I guess the most recent season was the last. I don't know if did they do 2 seasons or 1. I can't remember. But anyway, whatever the most recent one was, that is the end of it. So sorry, that's that. Well, such is the way. But that's okay, because then if it kept going, that would just mean yet another thing we'd have to keep track of. And we got all these Netflix shows kind of filling in the void there anyway, so I think we'll be okay for getting our Marvel on. Alrighty, folks. Wow, this one went on really long. I probably should have split it up into like 6 parts, but I didn't. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this extra long Movie Monday with 6 reviews. I hope that makes up for the long absence in some respect. Yeah, got some special stuff planned for this week coming up. In addition to the other regular features, you'll be seeing some other stuff kind of related to another movie coming out very shortly. I think it comes out next week, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so anyway, we'll talk about that next time. All right. Quick thank you to my Patreon sponsors. Thanks, Patreon sponsors, especially Kyle Pellegrin, my current highest level sponsor. Please consider becoming a Patreon sponsor because it just means I can do this stuff more often for you because of all the stuff that Patreon sends me. Stuff being money, because money is good and we all like money. I like money. We should hang out. All right. That is it from me to you for now. So until next time, thanks for watching and sayonara.